Wilt Chamberlain was unlike anything the NBA had ever seen. His incredible size and athleticism let him block or grab shots still above the rim, so much that the league had to change the offensive goaltending rule, banning players from touching the ball inside that invisible cylinder over the basket. Next, Wilt dominated the paint when the lane was just 6 feet wide, so the NBA doubled it to 12 feet to keep him away from the hoop. Even that wasn't enough to stop him. His wild free throw style, jumping from behind the line and shooting midair, forced another rule change, making players wait until the ball hit the rim before crossing the line. Despite all these rule changes aimed at limiting him, Wilt kept breaking records, leading the league in assists and winning championships. No matter what, he remained unstoppable. Zaza Pachulia's name is now linked to a major NBA rule change. In May 2017, during the Western Conference Finals, Zaza closed out on Kawhi Leonard too aggressively. Kawhi landed on Zaza's foot, twisting his already injured ankle and ending his series. Without their star, the Spurs were swept. This incident sparked a league-wide reaction. By the 2017-2018 season, the NBA introduced what's now called the Zaza rule. Referees gained the power to call flagrant or technical fouls on dangerous closeouts, regardless of intent. If a defender invaded a shooter's landing space, officials could intervene, using video replay for fair judgment. The rule changed how defenders approached shooters and helped protect players from risky plays. In 2025, when Jason Tatum injured his ankle on a closeout, the defender was penalized thanks to this rule. The Zaza rule continues to keep players safer on the court. Shaq's dominance changed the NBA game and its rules. In the late 90s and early 2000s, teams couldn't stop him inside, so they stopped the game instead by intentionally fouling him even when he didn't have the ball. This tactic, known as Hack-a-Shaq, exploited his poor free throw shooting as he averaged just over 52%. Fans hated the slowed down pace, and the league knew it had to act. Starting in the 2008-2009 season, the NBA introduced a new rule. If a team fouled away from the ball in the last 2 minutes, the fouled team got 1 free throw plus the ball back. This rule made intentional fouling Shaq late in games much riskier, changing how teams played in crunch time. Though it came after Shaq's peak, his career clearly pushed the league to rethink late-game fouls and improve the flow of basketball. Allen Iverson's impact went beyond basketball. He changed how the NBA enforced rules and influenced player culture. His legendary crossover, sharp and full of hesitation, blurred the line between legal dribbling and carrying. While no new rule was made, referees began cracking down harder on carrying violations because of his style, reshaping how hesitation moves were called. Off the court, Iverson's bold fashion, baggy clothes, tattoos, chains, led to the NBA's 2005 dress code. Players had to wear business or conservative attire when arriving at games or during official activities. No more hats, jerseys, or baggy jeans. The league saw Iverson's style as poor image, sparking controversy. Iverson fought back, calling the rule unfair and targeting. Though debated for years, the dress code eventually loosened, allowing players to express themselves again. Iverson's influence shaped both the game and its culture. George Mikan was the NBA's first dominant big man, reshaping the game and its rules in the early 1950s. Standing 6'10" and over 240 pounds, he controlled the paint with ease, bullying defenders and scoring at will under the rim. At the time, the lane was only 6 feet wide, which allowed Mikan to camp near the basket without challenge. To stop this, the league doubled the lane to 12 feet in the 1951-52 season, a change now called the Mikan rule. This pushed him farther from the hoop and made defense easier. That same season, the NBA introduced the offensive 3-second rule. Before, players like Mikan could stand in the paint indefinitely, but now they had to keep moving or risk a turnover. These changes forced more motion and balance in the game. Though the rules challenged him, Mikan remained dominant. His legacy lives on in every 3-second violation and lane violation called today. Charles Barkley's powerful back-to-the-basket game in the 90s forced the NBA to act. Using his strength, Barkley would back defenders down for up to 15 seconds, bulldozing his way to the rim. While effective, it slowed the game's pace. In 1999, the league introduced a new rule. When a player dribbles with their back or side to the basket below the free throw line extended, they have just 5 seconds to make a move. If they don't, it's a turnover. The count resets if the player picks up their dribble, crosses the line, or loses the ball. This wasn't just to speed up play, it kept the game flowing. Barkley's iconic post-ups had become stalling tactics, so the rule pushed players to be more decisive and the NBA toward faster, more dynamic offense. Though Barkley never broke any rules, his style reshaped them and the game forever. Ted Stepien wasn't a player but an owner whose decisions changed NBA rules forever. When he bought the Cavaliers in 1980, the team struggled, going 66-180 during his tenure. What hurt most were his trades. He gave away first-round picks in 5 straight years from 1982 to 1986, receiving only average players while other teams gained stars like James Worthy and Brad Daugherty. The league was alarmed and froze Cleveland's trading rights. After Stepien sold the team, the NBA handed out extra draft picks to fix the damage. Then, in the 1984-85 season, they introduced the Ted Stepien rule, which prevents teams from trading away first-round picks in consecutive future drafts unless they get another first-round pick in return. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Before he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor dominated college basketball at UCLA with his unstoppable dunks. At 7'2", he was so powerful that in 1967, the NCAA banned dunking, a rule now known as the Alcindor Rule. This ban lasted nearly a decade and was meant to level the playing field, but many believed it targeted dominant black athletes like Alcindor, especially after Texas Western's historic 1966 win challenged racial norms in basketball. Forced to adapt, Alcindor developed the skyhook, a high-arching, one-handed shot that became his signature and nearly impossible to block. The dunk ban was lifted in 1976, but by then, Kareem had already transformed the game. His legacy isn't just about dominance, but adaptation. The NCAA tried to limit his power, but instead, it sparked one of basketball's most iconic moves and a legendary career. James Harden transformed how players draw fouls by leaning into defenders, hooking arms, and extending legs after stepbacks to get calls. He led the NBA in free throw attempts for 7 straight seasons, peaking at nearly 12 per game in 2018-19. This frustrated fans and coaches alike. So, before the 2021-22 season, the league didn't change rules but instructed referees to stop rewarding these exaggerated moves. The result? Harden's free throw attempts dropped by 28% immediately, speeding up the game and reducing whistles league-wide. Harden adapted his game, but his era of constant trips to the line ended. His style forced the NBA to redefine how offensive contact is judged, shaping how fouls are called today. Darryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. Dawkins dunked so hard in 1979 that he shattered 2 backboards in weeks. This chaos forced the NBA to take action. Players who broke backboards got suspended, but the bigger fix was breakaway rims, designed to bend and snap back, plus tougher tempered glass. Dawkins didn't just break glass, he broke tradition, changing NBA hardware standards forever. Michael Jordan's unstoppable scoring and footwork pushed defenses to their limits, often isolating on one side of the court. This tactic stalled games so much that in the 1994-95 season, the NBA banned illegal offenses that overloaded one side, forcing teams to move the ball more. At the same time, the league cracked down on defenders hand-checking players on the hips and waist, making scoring easier and games faster. These rule changes helped shape today's NBA style: faster pace, more spacing, and cleaner offense, reflecting Jordan's huge impact on how basketball is played. Larry Bird's impact went beyond the court with the 1983 salary cap, introducing the Larry Bird exception. This rule allowed teams to exceed the cap to re-sign their own players after 3 years, letting franchises keep stars without losing cap flexibility. Bird was the first to benefit, and the exception remains vital for team building today. Kevin Durant's rip-through move, where he swung his arms through defenders to draw fouls, led the NBA to reconsider foul calls. After leading in free throws in 2010-11, the league reclassified those fouls as non-shooting unless a clear shooting motion was made, reducing his free throw attempts and influencing future crackdowns on unnatural offensive moves. Reggie Miller's habit of extending his leg on jump shots to draw fouls frustrated defenders. In 2012, the NBA introduced the Reggie Miller rule, making it an offensive foul if a shooter kicks out their leg to initiate contact. This change also affected players like Dwyane Wade and Manu Ginobili, reshaping how shooting fouls are called.